I welcome back for my video lecture on the subject software engineering. In this video, I am going to explain about various process models. Let us see the waterfall model. Waterfall model is the fundamental model. It is the oldest model. So this model consists of various phases such as communication, planning, modeling, construction, and deployment. So this model is also known as classic life cycle or linear sequential model. So this is the oldest paradigm for SE. This model is used for developing a projects where the requirements are well defined. So note the word requirements are well defined means then only we can suggest this kind of model. And also this model is suitable only for the simple projects. Okay, because here all the phases are executed one after another. There is no overlapping between the phases. So this model suggests a systematic sequential approach to software development. Next, let us see various phases in waterfall model. The first phase is communication. So during this phase, we have to specify the requirements. Then the next phase is planning. So once the requirements are gathered, then we have to identify the work task, analyzing the risk involved, scheduling the project, then estimating the effort and time needed to complete the project, etc. So these are all the activities will be done during planning phase. So once the communication and planning is completed, then we go for the modeling phase. So this phase involves translating the requirements gathered into a design. Here we are creating a design part. So in this part we focused on various data structures, software architecture, methods you are going to use, etc. Once the design is completed, then we have to construct a code. Here we are writing a code for our design phase. Once the code is generated, testing will be done. So after these are all four phases, then we go for deployment. Here we are hand over the project to the respective customer. So after delivering the product, if any changes or the customer facing any issues means we have to go for maintenance. So these are the basic activities of software development. So the main drawback of this model is real projects rarely follow the sequential process flow because it is very difficult to follow the sequential flow. Then it is difficult for the customer to state all requirements explicitly. Then the linear nature of the classic lifecycle leads to blocking states in which some project team members must wait for other members of the team to complete dependent tasks. For example, if the planning team working means the deployment or code constructing team have to wait till the requirement phases are over. And the next model is V model. So this is the extension of waterfall model. So this diagram looks like a V structure. So that is why it is called V model. So this model is similar to waterfall model. So what are all the phases we have discussed in waterfall model? The same phases are here, but each phase is associated with some testing. Okay, so here the requirements modeling associated with acceptance testing, architectural designs associated with system testing, then component design is associated with integration testing, like that code generation is associated with unit testing. So once the code is generated, the team moves up the right side of the V, performing a series of tests that validate each of the models created. The V model provides a way of visualizing how verification and validation actions are applied at the different stages of development. And the next model is incremental model. So this diagram shows the increment model. Here each increment consists of the basic activities like communication, planning, modeling, construction and deployment. So here all the increments will be done parallelly. So this model construct a partial implementation of a total system and then slowly add increased functionality. Each subsequent release of the system add function to the previous release until all designed functionality has been implemented. It combines elements of both linear and parallel process flows. The first increment is the core product with many supplementary features. This process is repeated following the delivery of each increment until the complete product is produced. For example, word processing software developed using the incremental paradigm might deliver the basic file management, editing, and document production functions in the first increment, more sophisticated editing and document production capabilities in the second increment, spelling and grammar checking in the third increment, and advanced page layout capability in the fourth increment, and so on. So in each every increment, they are doing some specific task. Incremental development can be used when staffing is unavailable for a complete implementation by the business deadline that has been established for the project. Next model is RAD, Rapid Application Development Model. So this model includes some different phases like business modeling, data modeling, process modeling. Business modeling provides a flow of information and the data modeling provides a set of data objects that are significant for the business. Process modeling means the data object that is declared in the data modeling phase is transformed to achieve the information flow necessary to implement a business function. Application generation. Here the automated tools are used for the construction of the software. And the next one is testing and turnover. As prototypes are individually tested during every iteration, the overall testing time is reduced in RAD. So this is the RAD model. The main advantages of this model is we can reuse the components. That helps to reduce the cycle time of the project. And it is very flexible and adaptable to changes. The main drawback of this model is for large scalable projects, RAD requires sufficient human resources to create the right number of RAD teams. If developers and customers are not committed to the rapid fire activities, then project will fail. Next, let us see evolutionary models. So in some cases, the requirements changes over time. For such projects, evolutionary approach can be used. In this model, a set of core product and requirements is well understood, but the details and extension have yet to be defined. Two types of evolutionary approaches are there. First one, prototyping and spiral model. So this diagram shows the prototyping model. So this diagram consists of many phases like communication, quick plan, modeling, quick design, construction of prototype, then deployment, delivery and feedback. So prototype means we are creating one model. Okay. So by interacting with the prototype, users can get a better idea of their information requirements. The prototype can be used as a template to create the final system. The prototype is a working version of the system or part of the system. The prototype will be further refined until it conforms precisely to users' requirements. So the main advantage of prototyping model is if there is some uncertainty about requirements means we can suggest this model because prototyping encourages end user involvement throughout the system development lifecycle. It is more likely to produce systems that fulfill user requirements. So if the completed prototype works reasonably well, there is no need for reprogramming and redesign. And the next model is spiral model. So this model consists of various phases like communication, planning, modeling, construction, deployment. So this is an iterative nature of prototyping with the systematic aspects of waterfall model, and it is a risk-driven process model. If you are having any risk related project means we can suggest this type of model. By comparing the previous model, this model have different features. First one is cyclic approach. Cyclic approach means here all the phases are incrementally growing a system while decreasing its degree of risk. Set of anchor point milestones for ensuring stakeholder commitment. Next, let us see advantages and disadvantages. And it is good to develop large scale system as software evolves as the process progresses and risk should be understood and properly related to. Prototyping is used to reduce risk. Three concerns on evolutionary process. First concern is the uncertain number of cycles required to construct the product. Second, it does not establish the maximum speed of the evolution. Third one is extending the development in order to reach high quality could result in a late delivery of the product when the opportunity has disappeared. Next model is concurrent model. It allows the software team to represent iterative and concurrent elements of any of the process model. For example, communication activity has completed its first iteration and in the awaiting changes state, the modeling activity was an inactive state. Now makes the transition into the under development state. If customer indicates changes in the requirements, the modeling activity moves from the under development state into the awaiting changes state. So this diagram shows the concurrent model. Thank you.